Hi, this is Roger. Thanks. Well, actually, it's Roger and Mojo. You've come to help, haven't you? Or hinder, one or the other. My gadget actually arrived yesterday. It was destined to arrive Tuesday. It arrived Sunday early evening. I've just got it all out the box and tried reading the instructions, which are like gobbledygook. Translation from some foreign language, no doubt, that nearly works but not quite. And as always with anything you try to do, there's always a video on YouTube, which I found very quickly, which explained how to set it up, which is not obvious because you're not supposed to run the diagnostics unless this is actually on your arm. In other words, you know, there is a pressure available to it. It doesn't say that anywhere, but it did in the video. Hopefully I didn't damage it, because the first thing I did was turn it on, obviously, to see if it works. That's what we'd all do, wouldn't we? Anyway, you get a chart. I've checked that against the NHS, and that appears to be the one that the NHS issue. You have to bear in mind there are distinct differences between the attitude to high blood pressure in different countries. And also different races of people have different expectations from their blood pressure readings. So all this gobbledygook you've got to take on board, allegedly. I'm going to query something. You know me, I question everything. To use this, I'm supposed to sit in the correct position. Yeah, this is to get the reading. Yeah, I agree with that. This thing has got to go on my upper arm and should be level with my heart, which it would be naturally sitting here. I'm supposed to be sitting upright, feet flat on the table, flat on the floor, flat on the table. Be up there, wouldn't I? Flat on the floor, and legs not crossed or anything silly like that, in a naturally relaxed position. And I'm supposed to relax and stay calm for 5 minutes before I take the reading. At that point, is that normal? I'm measuring my blood pressure in a state I am hardly ever in. So is that really the proper reading? Shouldn't I take the reading while I'm walking about? That's normal. So, anyway, these are designed to work when you're in a relaxed state and all that cobblers. Am I in a relaxed state? Well, probably. I've had one coffee this morning, and that was first thing in the morning. I don't work so good without that. What's the time now? It's now 9:30, so that was quite a long time ago. So we'll forget that we've even had that one. I've had my breakfast and I didn't have a coffee with it. I changed. I thought, well, hang on, we can do away with one coffee and substitute it with something that's a lot more healthy. So we had our normal toast and I had a yogurt instead of the coffee that I would normally have. So that's got rid of 1 cup. There's stacks of yogurts in the fridge. Sometimes I end up eating them to use them up before the date. Right, now this, I tried putting this on. Oh, I hate that sound, don't you? And it's not easy. Quite honestly, it's a pain in the whatnot. Wrong way round. The most important thing is that it's not on too tight, it's in the right place, and that this cable thing that joins up to the unit is pointing down your arm at your middle finger. So this is supposed to be not too tight. You're supposed to be able to get a couple of fingers in. Yeah, so that looks good, and that's supposed to point down your arm towards your middle finger, and it's supposed to be a little bit up from the elbow, so we'll slide it up a little bit. All of these things are geared up to getting the gadget to work the way it should, rather than getting an accurate reading. The accurate reading is provided by me, the person, but getting the gadget in the right state is going to help. The combination of the two is what works. This is the theory anyway. Now I've set up a spreadsheet. I've got date, time, systolic measurement, that's the big number, Diastolic, that's a smaller number, and heart rate. Now, the first thing you do is there is a chart like this. There is one school of thought that says your age shouldn't matter. Blood pressure is just blood pressure. And nearly everywhere else you look, your blood pressure is expected to be raised to a degree as you get older. So I've found some things that, you know, are for people that are over 70, less than 80, over 70. That's my age range. And I'm allowed to be a little bit higher than the standard 120 over 80, if there is such a thing as standard. Like I said, if I get up and walk about, I will completely mess up the reading, but that would be the blood pressure my body has to normally handle, not sitting down relaxed. I'm not supposed to talk while taking the reading, and I'm supposed to be totally relaxed for at least 5 minutes before I take the reading. Well, this may or may not happen. We'll worry about it when we see what reading we're going to get. We're doing this is live. I haven't seen this reading yet. I don't know what I'm going to get. I might have to pack it up quickly and zoom off to the hospital. Alright, so actually I'll stick this, take my mouse out and stick this in this side, as this side is easier to access. Oh, it's all come on, all the lights came on, that's good. See, now this was the one thing that wasn't obvious. To set the date and the time, it says do it when it's in a non-measuring mode. For non-measuring mode, read not actually turned on. Is that obvious? You'd expect to have to turn a unit on to set the settings. No, set the date and time, it must be turned off, but it must be connected. Thank you video on YouTube, otherwise I'd have never worked that out. Right, so we've got our arm, hand upwards, relaxed, sitting upright. I'm not totally relaxed, obviously, I'm filming and I'm messing about. But I just want to see what I get, you know, if we get a dangerous level here. The other thing is it does recommend that you take several readings with a few minutes in between. So, providing we don't get something ridiculous in the first one, I can relax and then do one a couple of minutes later. So let's press the start button and see what happens. Right, the cuff's getting tight, obviously. Quite tight. And then it starts to wind down, so it releases the pressure. I'm not supposed to be talking, really. We'll count this as a practice run, shall we? Which means if I get a silly reading, we'll count that as a practice run as well. And I'm not supposed to be giggling either. Right, we're definitely going to count that as a practice run. Next thing I need to do is check this for tightness, because when that pumped up, that was incredibly tight. So we may have the cuff on a little bit too tight. We'll just loosen it a little bit, because that was pretty tight. That was pinching, like, you know. Right, how's that now? That's a bit better. Turn it off. I'm probably more relaxed now, but I don't know. Might have to do this I might have to just do this separately without trying to film it and everything like that. What do you think? Hey, what do you think? Right, let's try again. No, that is so tight. I can't. I've got a job to move my fingers. That's not working right. I'm doing something wrong here. That is far too tight. I bet that Yeah, it's just come up with an error. Right, so let's turn it off again. And let's see what we can do here, because something's not right. Let's get that up out of the way. So it's supposed to come up a little bit. That just seemed ridiculously tight. Some people would actually, find that so uncomfortable that they would start moaning. It's going to take a while, I think, playing around to get this working properly, perhaps. Well, that didn't seem to pinch as tight as it has been. I'm not going to count this as a genuine reading because I'm not relaxed, which it does say you should be. Right, if I was to take this reading at face value, I would be just over the line of mid-hypertension, because the reading I've got is 146 over 87. I know I'm not relaxed because my heart rate is over 60. My heart rate is naturally around between 55 and 60. It's not normally over 60, not if I'm totally relaxed. So as I said, that would come into mild hypertension, which is orange. So we're not in the red, which is moderate and severe. Which, given all the stuff that I've read, that if that is a genuine reading, that was 146 over 87 and 65. I'm going to record that. I'm going to actually write that down. So what is it today? 25th. I didn't say start, did I? I must have leant on the button. I've got too many wires here. Oh, my mouse won't work. My mouse won't work because this is plugged in where my mouse goes. So we'll switch that over to the other side for a start. But I think I'm going to need to do these readings as per instructions. In other words, calm, relaxed for 5 minutes or so, which is not mucking about with, plugs, wires and stuff. But it's the 25th today, and that time was, let's say, 9:45:09:45, and we had 147 over, I've forgotten what it was now, 147 over, I've forgotten, I think it was 85, wasn't it, and the heart rate was 65. As I said, I think I'm going to have to get quite a few days worth to get any sense out of the recordings, and it would not make sense to make adjustments to stuff apart from those I've already agreed with myself, which is to cut the alcohol down. Now, in preparation for that, what I've done is I've put 125 ml in my normal wine glass to see where it comes up to. That's a measuring glass. That's what you would get if you went to a pub and asked for a small glass of wine. And there are, how many of those? 6 of those in a bottle. And I know that the bottle I just picked up out there was 8.6 units of alcohol. Some of the bottles I've got out there would be higher than that, because that one's a 12%. So obviously if there's any out there that are 13.5, they would be more than 8.6 a bottle. But you have to bear in mind that a 125 milliliter glass is about 1.5 units, and men are recommended to not have more than 3 or 4 units a day. Well, what I want to do is not exceed that as a daily rate, but what I also want to do is have 2 or 3 days a week where there's no wine at all. Let's do this properly, shall we? That's going to hurt. I'm okay. The coffee, it says 3 or 4 cups of coffee a day is okay. Well, given that mine is half decaf, I can have twice as many cups for the same amount of caffeine. And I don't have that many. I normally have about 6 cups of coffee, which relates to 3, which is in what's recommended. So we're okay with 3 cups of coffee. Cut the wine right down. I don't smoke and haven't done for a while. I don't do the exercise. If I'm in that mild hypertension band, providing there are no other underlying factors, which I can't determine on my own obviously, then a moderate, light to moderate exercise would be okay without endangering me, because that's what I've got to watch. I've got to watch that I don't start doing something that does more harm than good. So it made me laugh. Examples of light exercise: getting up and making a cup of tea. If you think how much walking about I do, going from here out to the grow room, back into here, out into the kitchen to get a coffee, out into the kitchen to get some food, back into here, over there and sit down, watch a bit of telly, walk round the garden, you know, there's a lot of steps going on. All that would be classed as light exercise, quite light exercise. So to deviate from that means actually going for a purposeful walk, which, as I said, that ain't happening if it's raining, so that's only going to happen on days when it's not raining. And I'm in a category, if these readings are accurate, that I can do that without any form of danger. So what we do is we don't measure the distance I'm walking. What we do is work out how long we've walked for. And then if I want to increase it, I need to change the route and time it again. So I'll find myself a walk that I quite like, see how long that takes. I could count the steps. I'm not getting a gadget to count them. This still works at the moment. And we might start introducing the walk. I mean, if I go around the little shop I always walk, and that involves going up a relatively long incline. The little side road that comes out of this estate that goes up to the main road is an incline. So I am doing a bit of uphill. Well, for every uphill there's a downhill coming back, isn't there? Yeah. But yeah, I'm not changing my diet. I'm changing the wine quite dramatically. I mean, there are days, I'll admit, there are days when the whole bottle goes, especially more so if I have a glass lunchtime. If I open a bottle to have a glass of wine lunchtime, you can virtually guarantee that bottle will be gone by the time I go to bed. That's obviously far too much, so that's got to stop. What we've got to do is get down to a third of a bottle, not a whole bottle, not even half, but get down to a third of a bottle when I have wine, and have 2 or 3 days where I don't have any. And I think that would be an acceptable level. So we will see what we can do. Now, I would say I'm still not fully relaxed, but we'll give it another go because it's had a few minutes and I've been sitting all the time. I haven't been, wandering around, jumping up and down the stairs. I probably go up and down the stairs quite a few times a day as well. This is all mild, light exercise. I'm not sat on my backside all day, but I do sit at this computer for quite an amount of the day. And the other thing it recommends is if you have a need to be seated, then don't do it for long periods. Cut the length of time down, get up, do something, move around, then come back and carry on. So I do that anyway, I think. I don't sit here for hours at a time. Right, let's have another go then. See what we get. Hand upside down, that's the bit I keep forgetting. Let's sit round straight as well, so we get both arms on the table as it shows in the picture. Now that says 138/87. So on here, 85 to 89 is high normal. Yeah, so it hasn't gone into the mild hypertension range. 138 is between 130 and 139, which is high normal. So this reading is not in mild hypertension, it's in that yellow band. Yeah? So you can see why it says take multiple readings. And as I said, I'm quite happy to go with this chart because this chart goes with the NHS. 138. Heart rate was high that time, 71. That's probably because I'm doing stuff, aren't I? I'm not just totally relaxed. Anyway, that was, forgotten what it was now. I'll do another one in a minute. I've forgotten what was said. I need to write them down straight away. It's because I'm filming. It's because I'm not concentrating on just doing this. So I'll cut the film off now, and you've seen me play with the gadget, and you must appreciate that trying to film it and do it and all that is probably increasing my blood pressure. But given the two readings we just did, I'm not in any form of danger zone. Yeah? I mean, I think under normal circumstances I'm going to do this twice a day, maybe 3 times to start with, but I'm going to do it first thing in the morning when I get up, before I've had my first coffee. In theory that would be as low as it gets because I'm not even properly awake at that point. Hopefully I can fix it all up and get it going. And then I want to do a midday one, and then I want to do a mid-evening one, which is a couple of hours after I've had my main meal and my glass of wine to go with my meal, if it's a wine day, and then take 3 readings during the day, and then there will be an average which would be for the day. The idea of doing several readings is to eliminate one false reading. So by taking 3, if there's a false one in there, the other 2 will bring it down and not make it exaggerated, if you see what I mean. That's the plan with that. So we'll give this gadget a go, and the other thing I don't know is, having changed my wine intake quite dramatically, is that an instant result? Or is that going to take weeks before I see any difference? I don't know. These sort of things are difficult to find out. Anyway, we will play with it and see what we get. I've actually got nothing to do today as far as the grow room is concerned. I'm hoping to get outside and plant those 2 sedums in the little circle. Carol may or may not be digging up plants. Wales is getting hit pretty hard with nasty weather. I think there's a bit of a lull at the moment, but there's only so much you can do. And the object is to do it all at once. The object is to dig up all the plants that I'm going to have and put them in one box with one lot of postage. That's the goal. Well, it all takes time. If you've only got a small window, so be it. But that box may arrive this week. It may get pushed away until this sequence of bad weather. We've got a serious storm coming in midweek. That doesn't sound very pleasant at all. So we'll see how it goes, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by, indulging in this nonsense. But I think it'll be useful. Overall, it at least relieves the worry that that is the problem. But the bottom line is if it does relieve the fact that it isn't ridiculously high blood pressure, then we still haven't got an explanation for what went wrong. So we put it down as a one-off and forget it until it happens again, and then do something about it. Provided we survive, of course. Anyway, see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.